Happy Monday, television folks out there. How you doing? Hope you had a good weekend. 16th day of March, 2026 has safely arrived. I am Dan Kuntz, 34 degrees. The weather's going to do a complete 180 from what we had on Friday, and that kind of caught everybody by surprise. Even the National Weather Service wasn't expecting that. Well, most of the snow that you see in the background behind me going to be gone, Johnson. By the end of the day today, we're going to be in the mid-50s and then the mid-60s. The big story is the mountain passes are going to get torrential rains. Temperatures, high temperatures in Stevens and I-90 Snoqualmie Pass. They had all that snow, just gobs and gobs of snow last week, right into the weekend. It's all going to melt. They're going to get 3/4 of an inch of rain during the day today on Stevens, and then tonight, and then tomorrow. It's just going to come down by the bucketful up in the mountain passes, and all that snow is going to melt, and all the heavy rain associated with it. So we do have a flood watch. It begins tonight, goes through Sunday evening. Right now, the closest rivers and streams that we're keeping an eye on is Stehekin. They're already getting up there pretty good, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Anaat and the Wenatchee and the Icicle start seeing their banks go up. All of that is coming up. Plus, lots of news to get to. Sports, good weekend for the Kraken. They went on the road, and then they defeated the defending Stanley Cup champions yesterday at home. And they did it with authority, highlights of that. Plus all the spring high school sports that were supposed to be played. Some got in. Mother Nature had other plans for other spring sporting events. We'll talk about that. Gonzaga women, Gonzaga men, and the Washington women are all going to their respective NCAA tournaments. We'll have that. And in case you missed the interview I did a couple of weeks ago with Liz and Jeremy, I learned a lot. You will too. AmeriCorps, our friends at AmeriCorps. Liz Drath is the director of the local chapter of AmeriCorps. Jeremy Yonaka is the volunteer coordinator. They're both pretty good at what they do. You're going to learn a lot from that conversation in the back half of the program. It's tour time as we get closer and closer to sunrise. Speaking of that, sunrise this morning, 7:11. It's almost upon us. Sunset tonight, 7:08. That is 11 hours, 57 minutes of daylight. Now, here's the deal. The vernal equinox is Friday morning at 7:46. The vernal equinox, spring, if you will. There's the Stein Hill camera. Why is that important? I'll tell you why it's important, because we don't have exactly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness, but tomorrow we will go over the 12-hour mark of daylight by all of 7 seconds. We'll have 12 hours and 7 seconds of daylight tomorrow. So there you go. We're going to go on the other side of that pendulum. Good morning to Billy Goat. Again, a lot of snow melt expected in the upper elevations and in the lower elevations. Our temperature on our high temperature on Friday during the snow event was 33. We'll be over 30 degrees warmer than that by this time tomorrow. Today is really the transition. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And there is the Orondo Rock camera as we take a look at Lake Anaat, and off in the distance is the mountains. Of course, Mission Ridge got a pretty good dose of snow as well, but even they are going to see a lot of snow melt because the rains are going to come down. They are calling the high pressure ridge, if you've been following the news at all, there's a ginormous ridge of high pressure over Southern California in the Arizona desert, and it is huge. They say they've never seen one this size and this well entrenched in the middle of March, but it's going to affect us because all that warm air is going to work its way up here. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. 56 today, mixture of sun and clouds, and about a 30% chance of rain. That is pretty warm. For the record, we hit 42 on Saturday and 40 yesterday, so we're going to be a lot warmer. And look how warm the overnight lows are going to be. Rain snow mix, nope, just plain rain on Tuesday with a high of 64. 40% chance of rain Tuesday night, 47 for the overnight low. Wednesday, 30% chance of rain, partly sunny, high near 64. And again, the mountain passes starting today. Stevens and I-90 are going to get torrential rains, and they're going to see high temperatures in the passes at the summit in the mid to upper 40s and overnight lows in the lower 40s. So it's going to melt the snow plus the rain all week long, which is why we have a flood watch that begins tonight and goes all the way through into the weekend, all the way through Sunday evening. They may even expand that. So there you go. Pretty mild and in many locations, pretty wet. Not too bad here on the valley floor. After a 2-minute break, we will do your Monday morning news because you're watching a Monday morning edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
The Moses Lake National RV Show is happening now through Sunday, March 22nd at the Grant County Fairgrounds. Shop hundreds of RVs. Receive huge discounts. Exclusive show-only pricing. Prices this low will only be available at the National RV Show at the Grant County Fairgrounds. Manufacturer reps are on site stacking additional savings. No payments for 120 days on approved credit. Free admission. Free parking. Plus, shop like a VIP and receive an additional $1,000 off. Learn more at nationalrvshowmoseslake.com.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
Pretty cloudy. Clouds are pretty high up there. We're at 34 degrees. We'll be at least mid-50s today and then mid-60s with hit and miss light showers for the course of the week. Lots of snow going to be melting in the major mountain passes with significant rain up there as well. It's 8 minutes after the hour. A 24-year-old Chelan woman is dead after the SUV she was riding in slammed into a pickup truck traveling just ahead of it. This happened Saturday night on Highway 97A about 5 miles north of Antioch. Casey J. Embry declared dead at the scene of the crash, in which 24-year-old Jaden C. Bias of Antioch was driving north near milepost 220. According to the Washington State Patrol, they say Bias in a 2023 Chevy Trailblazer failed to slow for a 2024 Ford F-450 pickup as its driver attempted to make a right turn off the highway. The accident happened at about 9:55 on Saturday night. Troopers say drugs or alcohol believed to be involved in the crash. Embry was not wearing a seatbelt, by the way. Bias, who was wearing a seatbelt, received treatment for his injuries at Confluence Health Hospital in Wenatchee. The State Patrol says he has not been charged. The crash remains under investigation. The driver and the passenger in the F-450 that Bias collided with were not injured. Highway 97A was closed at the scene of the crash until about 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. The Wenatchee School District plans to cut $2.5 million from its budget for the next school year. That's less than half of the amount that was originally expected. Superintendent Corey Callahar had been preparing for cuts of about $5.4 million, but recently restored federal funding reduced that figure. District Communications Director Diana Haglund says the funding was released after Washington Attorney General Nick Brown joined a multi-state lawsuit against the Trump administration. As part of a legal settlement, the Department of Education agreed to distribute the funds. The $2.5 million the district is planning to cut from its budget is part of a broader reduction in the district that's been made over the last 3 years. The need to align the school's budget amid declining enrollment and inflationary costs. The Washington State Legislature adjourned on Thursday, concluding its regular session with a collection of bills that will impact our area, including the much-discussed millionaire's tax. That was Senate Bill 6346, and it establishes a 9.9% tax to be levied on households making more than $1 million beginning in 2028. The tax could generate a little more than $3 billion per year. Governor Bob Ferguson has yet to sign that bill into law. Automatic license plate readers like the flock safety cameras that can be found around the Wenatchee Valley, they will face stricter regulations after the passage of a separate bill. Among the big changes, data collected by plate readers must be deleted within 21 days unless it's part of an ongoing criminal case. The data is also exempt from public records disclosure. The Wenatchee Police Department operates 8 cameras in the city alongside other law enforcement agencies in the area. Wenatchee Mayor Mike Poyer and East Wenatchee Mayor Gerald Crawford will give a State of the City's presentation. This is tomorrow morning. It's a Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce event. The two mayors address the Chamber's Coffee and Commerce gathering. That's at 8:30 tomorrow morning. It'll be in the City Council meeting room at Wenatchee City Hall, right across the street from our studios. Chamber Director Steve Wilkinson says the event provides the opportunity to engage with civic and government leaders. Registration information is available on the Chamber's online calendar. At Wenatchee High School on Thursday night, students and parents gathered for the 3rd annual Migrant Family Night. Families who move from place to place to work in agriculture received information on physical and mental health. Providers had the opportunity to educate families on what resources are available to them in the area. Nancy Navarro-Ortiz is the district's Migrant Education Program Coordinator, and she says a survey of migrant families found health information was in high demand. The families also heard presentations on the Wenatchee School District. They also got details of the school district's planned $295 million construction bond. They want to build a new Wenatchee High School. The high school's mariachi band and folklorio dancers also provided entertainment for the guests. NCW Life multimedia journalist Long Tran is getting to know the landmarks of North Central Washington. On Friday, he took an excursion to the tourist mecca of Leavenworth and its Nutcracker Museum. Of course, Arlene Wagner founded the museum in 1995 with her husband George, and Long tells us now, at 101 years old, Arlene continues to steer the collection with a steady hand.
We're at the Leavenworth Nutcracker Museum, home to one of the largest collections of nutcrackers in the world. Even though Christmas is about 9 months out, this popular tourist attraction in Leavenworth celebrates the holidays year-round. Let's take a look.
Some are so big they could probably crack a coconut.
We have nutcrackers from, as I said, from over 50 countries. We have nutcrackers dating back to Roman times. We have many carved nutcrackers from the 15th, 16th, 17th century. And it was our big collection that we had. And when placed in this building vacated, we put the nutcrackers in there, and we wanted everybody to enjoy them.
And I think just working here is just absolutely amazing, the history of the nutcrackers. And if you Google any nutcracker information, it all comes back to Arlene Wagner. And so I tell people that have never been here before that even if they don't like the standard nutcracker, they need to come in, check out the history of all the nutcrackers, and see how far back they go, and get some of the stories that go along with them.
You do hear that Leavenworth is pricey, but we have tried to keep our attendance price down so that more people could enjoy it, and especially the children and the families. So we only charge $5 for adults, just as we have charged for many, many years, and we hope that we have enough income that we can keep it down forever.
The museum is open every day from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Reporting from Leavenworth, this is Long Tran from NCW Life.
And in case you missed it, People and Pets were the stars of Saturday's St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Wenatchee. It goes back to 1981. It's billed as the world's shortest parade. Travels just the one block down Orondo from Mission to Wenatchee Avenue. The whole procession took about 5 minutes, maybe 10. Each year, the parade leaders choose a Grand Marshal from among world-famous people at the moment. The designated Grand Marshals for this year's parade, the U.S. Olympic men's and women's hockey teams, but just like every celebrity picked, to be the Grand Marshal of the parade. They didn't show up. They never do. One of these days, you never know. That's the news. A quarter after the hour on this Monday, the crew will be back and doing what they do best, doing the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock. The NCAA Life Evening News on traditional airing on TV. If you are unplugged, if you're a cord cutter, but you got YouTube, and who doesn't, we'll be on YouTube right around 5 o'clock. Our news will be waiting for you there. You can watch it whenever you want to. Don't forget, we're on Roku. We're on Apple TV Plus. We're on that Amazon Fire thingamajigger. We have an app, we have an Instagram, and we have an app. And that QR code right there will get you the app. You got a news tip? Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Pretty good dose of sports coming up on this Monday. You'll find about it in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control. This March, Lake Chelan welcomes food and wine lovers to an unforgettable experience. Taste Chelan. Chelan Valley's top wineries and restaurants create the perfect pairing of fine wines and culinary delights. With 4 weekends to explore, every visit offers something fresh and exciting. From your first sip to the last bite, every moment is a delicious adventure. But don't wait, tickets are selling fast. Visit tastechelan.com today.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
"18 minutes after the hour, good weekend for the Seattle Kraken. They went up to Vancouver on Saturday night, beat the Canucks. The final there was 5-2, and then after that victory, by the way, featuring the very first goal for Bobby McMahon. We acquired him during the trade deadline, but he turned around last night. McMahon had another goal and an assist, and the Kraken beat the Florida Panthers 6-2 to move into the second wildcard spot in the West.
Ended up sending his teammates and line mates up the ice. Evans, Freddie Gaudreau, cleaned up by Gus Forsling. Gaudreau again, tipped, they score! Ben Myers! Little pinball wizard out in front. As it ricochets around, she loves it, and the Kraken are off and running.
Win this face-off, and they turn it over right there. Good job by Riker Evans. He's not getting any assists on this, but he hung around the blue line. He didn't leave the zone too early. And then Freddie Gaudreau gets it to the net, directed by Winterton, and as you picked up perfectly, Johnny, right off of Ben Myers.
Well, just simple hockey from that line, though. That's all right.
Yeah. Mikkola will take over to the wall of steel. Oleksiak shifting in. He sets up Kakko right out in front. What a stop by Tarasov. And they score! It's Berkeley Kenton on the rebound. The little cat snuck in, sniffed out the loose change after Kakko had the first chance, and the Kraken are up by 2.
How about the hands in tight from Kakko, pulling to the back end. Tarasov makes an excellent save, throwing it back to the net, but Catton gets inside. You look at the white jerseys out in front, 2 of them First is the save, the opportunity going back, but Cat works his way to the inside, is able to flip that back up and over a sprawling Tarasov.
Well, we talked about in the pregame, Seattle Kraken. And I love that Kakko didn't, after he got stopped, he didn't have a flyby below the goal line.
Here's a chance, they come right back. A response goal for Vinny Hinostroza, set up by Luke Cunnin, and Florida cuts the lead in half. Lindgren is hard pressed. Help comes from Winterton, and the Kraken are out. Winterton, Montour, the trailer, Myers, off the post, they score! Ryan Winterton bangs it home in the right place at the right time, and the Kraken reestablish a 2-goal lead.
He's going to dump this puck off to Brandon Montour, and another Kraken player going to the net, stopping and staying and hanging around.
He'll send it in. Sabrango gets after it, so does Dunn for the Kraken. Vince Dunn, Capo Kakko, power move, he scores! Capo Kakko takes it to the house, and the Kraken have a 4-1 lead. Gate to stick, McMahon, glove down by Shane Wright. In the corner, Eli Tolvanen, and there's a play off Tarasov from Kakko, set up beautifully by Tolvanen. What a play. Montour, Eli Tolvanen, Shane Wright again. Tolvanen, cross ice, Kakko to the slot. McMahon, he scores! That's hockey, baby! Bobby McMahon with his third goal as a Kraken.
But he goes to his second unit to start this power play. A couple of great chances, a beautiful pass from Tolvanen to Kakko, did not connect. But this one here, Kakko to McMahon.
Eberle for Oleksiak, who stick handles in. Bobby McMahon in front, they score! Hey, hey, what do you say? Bobby McMahon right on the money to the big rig, who has goals in consecutive games, and the Kraken up by 5.
Where he avoided contact there on Boquist. And the game of hockey is all about move the puck, move yourself.
Kraken stay at home. They got today off. They'll host the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. That game will be nationally televised on TNT. So a good weekend for the Kraken, not so much for the Mariners. They lost to the Dodgers in Cactus League action on Friday night, and they lost to the Angels on Saturday. They did beat the Reds 6-3 on Sunday. Mariners starting pitching has been pretty good. Bullpen, not so much. The Mariners dropped to 6-16-1 in Cactus League play. They are off today. They'll take on the Rockies tomorrow afternoon at 1:10. That game may be changed because of the oppressive heat in the greater Phoenix area. They may move that to a night game. Let's go dancing. No surprise here. Gonzaga in the big dance. They had locked in their slot about a month ago. Now we know who they're going to play and when. They'll be in the West region in Portland. Number 3 Zags will take on number 14 Kennesaw State. That'll be Thursday at 7 o'clock on TBS. For the women, number 6 Washington will take on number 11 South Dakota State in Region 4. That'll be in Fort Worth, Texas. They'll play Friday at 11:30 in the morning, but you have to have ESPN News to watch that. And the Gonzaga ladies are a number 12 seed. They get to take on number 5 Mississippi in the Region 2 first round. That'll be in Minneapolis. That'll be Friday at 12:30 on ESPN2. Mother Nature had other plans on getting some prep sports in over the weekend, but most of the soccer games that were scheduled actually got to be played, especially Friday night. Eastmont went down to Pasco and beat the Bulldogs. Nice victory there. 4-1 was the final. Cascade shut out Bridgeport in boys soccer over the weekend. Okanagan shut out Warden. A lot of shutouts, as you can see. East Valley shut out Moses Lake. Ephrata shut out Tenasket. Davis shut out Quincy. Highland shut out Manson. Kashmir took care of College Place down at Walla Walla. Eastmont never did make the trip to Mount Zion Saturday. Tahoma never made it over the pass to see Wenatchee on Saturday afternoon. Everett was supposed to play at Chelan on Saturday, but you can't play when the pitch is covered in snow. Same deal with softball and baseball. The prep softball scoreboard didn't get played. Moses Lake's doubleheader against Mount Spokane postponed. Quincy's doubleheader at Medical Lake was postponed. Brewster and Lake Roosevelt were supposed to play On Saturday, they'll play again. They'll try again today. They should be able to get it in. Brewster Lake Roosevelt this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Prep baseball, Kennewick and Moses Lake was supposed to play a doubleheader at Lions Field on Sunday. The snow said no go, so the Lions are going to hop on the bus and come on up to Moses Lake today. Doubleheader with Moses Lake at Larson Playfield and the Kennewick Lions, the first pitch of the first game at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And the Wenatchee Wild, of course, playing out the strings, just 2 games left. They got slaughtered by Prince George on Friday night. The final on Saturday night, the final there was 5-0. Good game on Friday night. Great goalkeeping, but Prince George did nip the Wild. The final there was 1-0. Wenatchee will be hosting Everett this Friday. Then they travel to Everett, and that's it. Their season is over because they're not going to make the WHL playoffs, and those are just some of the games that people are playing at 26 minutes after the hour. It's National Freedom of Information Day. It's National Everything You Do Is Right Day. How am I working out on that? It's National Artichoke Hearts Day. I love artichoke hearts. Oh, they're so good. National No Selfies Day. But today we talk about the giant panda. It is National Panda Day, and according to the World Wildlife Federation, and if anybody's going to know, it's going to be them, there are 1,864 giant pandas in the wild in their native habitat, which is central China, and there's about 500 giant pandas living in either breeding centers or in zoos, and they need to take care of these breeding centers. The problem, of course, a female panda only ovulates once a year in the spring, and it only lasts 2 or 3 days, so your window to get your female giant panda pregnant isn't very big. Pandas in the wild can live up to about 20 years. Pandas in captivity can live up to about 30 years. When pandas are born, they're tiny. They're about the size of a stick of butter. Then, needless to say, they get bigger. Male pandas throughout their lifetime will gain about 300 pounds. Female pandas will gain about 200 pounds. Yes, bamboo makes up the bulk of the diet of giant pandas, but if there's not enough bamboo around for everybody to eat, they'll pretty much eat whatever's available. They'll eat fish, insects, rodents, birds to supplement their bamboo diet. Pandas, giant pandas, spend about 12 hours a day just eating. And when you spend 12 hours a day eating, the other side of that coin is giant pandas defecate about 100 times a day. I have a great joke. Not going to go there. Today in history, happy birthday to West Point. There is the West Point Shield. West Point, the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York, was founded on this date in 1802. That makes West Point 224 years old today. It was the first American college to have an accredited civil engineering program. In fact, their civil engineering program is considered one of the very, very best. It was the first college to have class rings handed out to their graduating class. And again, its engineering is considered among the its engineering school is considered among the very best anywhere in the world. All members of the United States Military Academy, all cadets, dine together on weekdays for lunch. That's a big, big lunch. Cadets are required to compete in one sport every season. In the fall, in the winter, and the spring, they can actually play at the highest level, or they can play intramural, or they can play club, but that's a requirement. If you go to West Point, you must play a sport in the fall, in the winter, and the spring. Happy birthday to the Long Gray Line, 224 years old today. Automobile history on this date, 68 years ago today, March 16th, 1958. A pretty remarkable achievement by the Ford Motor Company. There it is, rolling off the line. Its 500 millionth automobile. Just kidding. It was the 50 millionth automobile, the Thunderbird. That's pretty impressive. It was rolled out on this date in 1968. Not to be outdone, just 10 years later, on this date in 1968, General Motors produced its 100 millionth automobile, the Oldsmobile Toronado. Congratulations to GM. 4 million cars sent to the scrapyard every year in the 1950s. That's pretty remarkable. Basically, they were built like tanks, and people drove them like tanks. And for a long time, in the state of Michigan, if you were a General Motors dealership, you were required to pay $1 to the Republican Party each year for each car you sold, or you wouldn't get the delivery of next year's automobiles. They don't have that anymore. They were a little late, but they got around to it. It was 31 years ago today, March 16th, 1995, that Mississippi formally ratifies the 13th Amendment, becoming the last state to approve the abolition of slavery. Now, of course, once it was passed and it became part of the Constitution, it didn't matter whether the state voted yes or no, whether they ratified it or not. It becomes effective for states everywhere. Mississippi finally got around to ratifying the 13th Amendment on this date in 1995. Better late than ever. Birthdays. We always do presidents. James Madison, the 4th president of the United States, born in the state in 1751. Everybody talks about Thomas Jefferson and the guy who wrote the Declaration of Independence. Well, James Madison essentially wrote the Constitution. Why he doesn't get the kind of credit he deserves, I don't know. He was actually the last surviving member of a person who signed the Constitution, the last surviving survivor of the Constitution. Could he get elected today? From a physical standpoint, probably not. He was 5 foot 4 inches tall and weighed less than 100 pounds. James Madison was the only president to actually face enemy gunfire while in office. He had to flee the White House during the War of 1812 with all those important documents. Both of James Madison's vice presidents died in office. Who wants the gig? Not me. No, thank you very much. And James Madison didn't get married till he was 43 years old, and just like George Washington, he never had any children, but he done okay. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, born in the state in 1751, and born 100 years ago today. Hey, lady! Jerry Lewis, the legendary comedian and showman, was born 100 years ago today. Of course, he worked all that time with the Muscular Dystrophy Association, but he had some skeletons in his closet, and when he died in 2017, Jerry Lewis left his $50 million estate to his second wife and their adopted daughter, his first wife, and their 6 kids and their grandchildren were intentionally left out of Jerry Lewis's will. $50 million estate, all 6 of his children with his first wife and their grandchildren intentionally left out of his will. Don't know what that's all about. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. They got a brand new logo, but their reputation of being the best around remains intact. Mike Benatti has got an opinion coming up, and then in case you missed the interview I did with Jeremy Yonaka and Liz Drath from our local chapter of AmeriCorps, you get to see it again. Don't miss it. You're going to learn a lot. I did. It's coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently posted a picture on Facebook, a Throwback Thursday pic of my son and Tony and I in Mexico some years ago. In the pic, Tony and I are having a beer, and I'm holding a cigar. A friend posted, "Nice picture, except for the nasty cigar." Well, I beg to differ. Sure, cigar smoking could be considered a questionable activity, but the hours of relaxation cigars have given me and the opportunity smoking one has provided for me to just spend a quiet hour reading a good book has been worth any nastiness some might attribute to the cigar. At least that's in my opinion. Now, the Bible says all things in moderation, and the peace and relaxation a cigar brings is a pleasant life interlude. Of course, Rosie says 3 times a week is not moderation, but I beg to differ. This is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and everyone's entitled to my opinion.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
You build more than projects. You build what communities rely on. When the job site runs on results, put Kubota to work. Backed by expert service and support from your local Kubota dealer. Right now, bring home select Kubota KX Series with 0% financing available or save up to $4,800.
Welcome back to the program. Alan Walker, a very, very good friend of mine, is a hard guy to say no to. There's a group of people, about a dozen or so in this valley. If they ask me to do something for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I say yes by default, because I don't want to get in trouble. Alan Walker is one of them, Darcy Christopherson, there's a whole slew of people. When Alan said, hey, the crew from AmeriCorps, which is folded under Alan's big umbrella, the Chelan Douglas Community Action Council, headquartered at their campus, their new campus in North Wenatchee Avenue, he said, hey, you want to have Liz and Jeremy on? And I said, whatever you say, Alan, because you know where the bodies are buried. I know, because he helped me bury them. Jeremy and Liz, introduce yourself to our television family. Jeremy, I'll let you go first.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Yonaka. I'm the volunteer coordinator and for the food district, volunteer coordinator, and also the food distribution coordinator, and I also help out in the AmeriCorps department.
You wear like 4 hats.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Liz only wears 1 hat, but it's a big hat. Introduce yourself, Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz Drath. I'm the director of AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps Seniors, and I have the privilege of working with the AmeriCorps team and Jeremy.
So you are in charge of the entire AmeriCorps for the footprint for this area, which is not just Chelan and Douglas County, it's Okanagan County and a little bit of Grant, or?
Yeah, Chelan, Douglas, Okanagan, and Grant County.
And Grant County, but you're headquartered here in the Wenatchee Valley. And we don't want to have to spend a lot of time explaining what exactly AmeriCorps is. It dates back to the Clinton administration, basically a domestic version of the Peace Corps, only you stay in the United States. So here's a cheesy little 2-minute video to give you a brief idea of what exactly it is that AmeriCorps does.
So you have questions about AmeriCorps. Well,
You've come to the right place, because we're here to help. First off, let's clear up one thing right away. You might be wondering how to say or spell AmeriCorps. Sometimes people pronounce the P, but don't make that same mistake. AmeriCorps is alive and well, just spelled with a silent P. So think of Apple Corps, or core of the earth. Now that we have that clear, what exactly is AmeriCorps anyways? AmeriCorps is simply Americans of all ages and backgrounds dedicating their time and skills to get things done. There we go. So how does AmeriCorps get things done? More than 80,000 Americans across the country join AmeriCorps each year, and all of them are tackling different problems in different ways. For example, AmeriCorps members help families attain affordable homes. They mentor students so that they stay in school. Perhaps there is a tornado, a flood, a forest fire, or a hurricane. AmeriCorps members also help communities recover from disasters. There's so many more things that AmeriCorps members do, but if we said it all, we'd be here all day. Why do we call them members, you ask? AmeriCorps members spend anywhere from 3 months to a year dedicating their time and skills to serve. They can volunteer with nonprofits, schools, public agencies, and community and faith-based organizations. And in case you were wondering, there are a few perks AmeriCorps members get, including money to pay for college, student loan deferment, training, living allowance, health benefits, and job opportunities with leading employers. Not too bad, right? All right. What's the purpose of AmeriCorps? Like the military or the Peace Corps, AmeriCorps is a way to serve your country. AmeriCorps members make Americans safer, stronger, and healthier, and they strengthen our communities. But above all, AmeriCorps members get things done. That's it. That's what AmeriCorps is. Learn more about AmeriCorps at AmeriCorps.gov.
So now you know what exactly AmeriCorps does and how it came to be. How does AmeriCorps work within North Central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley? What do you do with your day, Liz?
Yeah, that's a great question. A day can look very different from depending what host site you're placed at. Each member has a host site, and Jeremy and I work with the site supervisors that are going to mentor that AmeriCorps member and support them. They might be tutoring students in the school. They might be at a nonprofit recruiting volunteers. They might be helping out at a food pantry or a food distribution center. So it can really vary depending where they are placed at.
And how do you determine when an AmeriCorps person falls under your purvey? How do you decide what skill set works for, I'm going to send you here to work on this or send you there to work on that? How do you know, how do you make the right fit work?
Yeah, so the applicants, they complete a AmeriCorps member application, and they go through an interview process with both Jeremy and I, and then also with the potential host sites. You know, we have a very candid conversation with them. You know, what are you interested in? And then we also take into account their experiences, or maybe they have a goal, I want to work in this field. So we try to play matchmaker to help them find a position that they'd be interested in. And
it's, I guess this is a bit of a challenge. I mean, to really make it work?
To make it work, it just takes a lot of hard work, you know, on everyone's part. The applicants to be willing to try something new. You know, maybe learn a new skill that haven't used before or don't know about. But then also us too, we want to be able to support them and the host site. So it's really important that we're all on the same page, that we're all working together.
What's the difference between what Liz does as the director and you as the volunteer coordinator for the local AmeriCorps? What do you do that makes Liz's job a little bit easier?
Yeah, so I help Liz with recruitment of members or host sites. We always are recruiting for host sites. I myself am a host site supervisor for the Literacy Council and for a secondary for food distribution. So I feel that there are a lot of great benefits to being a host site. You get to work with people of diverse backgrounds. You get to bring people into your agency to help you build capacity or expand on a current program. Yeah, so it's just a great partnership and, you know, just basically recruiting volunteers.
And do you have the same challenges that Liz does as, hey, you got to volunteer and just stick me wherever you need me, as opposed to, I think I'm better at this than that? Yeah,
so even with the agency volunteer application, it's much like the AmeriCorps application. We have a listing of like, this is where we want to help out at. And then I just meet one-on-one with them and find out basically where they truly would be the happiest and make their service more meaningful.
And how do you put the need with whatever it may be? There's a couple of openings right now. I think the Humane Society had an opening for somebody in there up in the Bridgeport area. How does the marriage work between this is the AmeriCorps person that we need, and this is why we need them? How does that marriage work? How do you fit those two together?
Yeah. So we, build a partnership, and as you know, partnership takes time, effort, energy. We work together to create a AmeriCorps member position description, which outlines the tasks that the members are going to do. And on that, we can put too, we would like a member to have experience in here, or maybe a skill set here. And so we try to do a match, and then we also support them in supporting their member. Maybe they have a member that joined that position that doesn't have that skill, help them, support them to train them with that skill.
Is there a certain challenge with AmeriCorps? And I mean this from a budgetary standpoint. Alan and I talked about this before. Things were a little dicey at this time last year, and AmeriCorps locally was going to just go away, and then the money came back again. Is it hard to recruit either flat-out volunteers or the people who are being paid not much to do their job? Is that like, gee, I'd love to work with AmeriCorps, but I don't know if I'm going to have a job in 3 months. Does that make things challenging?
Definitely, it's challenging. AmeriCorps has had a lot of challenges, but we have huge supporters in the Valley, in the community. We've been really fortunate. We've had partnerships that have hosted members years after year. And so, with budgets, that can change, and so we try to be positive, work together, and just have, transparent communication with the members too. I had, some members join that maybe had concerns about what happened in the past, and we can't always control everything, but we can do all that we can do and support them.
I'm probably as guilty as much as anybody. AmeriCorps, when it first rolled out, and for the number of years that I was familiar with it, I associate with AmeriCorps with younger kids, probably just getting out of high school, and they really don't know what to do with their life, but this gives them something at least to do until they straighten it out. That's a myth, that's a misconception, isn't it? Because it's not just 18, 19, 20-year-olds trying to figure out what they do. That's not an accurate description, is it?
That's correct. Jeremy, do you want to touch on?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, that's not an accurate description at all. AmeriCorps is basically for everyone. Does not matter your age. We will find a position for you that will make you happy, and you can actually benefit from the AmeriCorps program benefits, like the Education Award. So even
we'll talk about that. Because that's important. That's a driving force to getting people to come to the organization.
Yeah. So a full-time AmeriCorps member receives a.
Here, you can use my notes.
Off the top of my head, Liz mainly talks about this. They receive a $7,395 education award that can be applied to their qualifying student loans. So if someone doesn't have student loans, or they don't have any interest in going back to college, if they're over the age of 55, they can actually gift that to a child or a grandchild.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool. So you can, at 55 or older, you can build up that equity, so to speak, and give it to a relative because you don't need it.
Yes.
Well, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So, and there are two slightly separate programs, AmeriCorps and then AmeriCorps Senior. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I'm sorry.
Yeah. AmeriCorps Senior or AmeriCorps RSVP.
Right. And so the difference between the two is the 55 and older thing. Is that basically it?
There's a big difference. AmeriCorps Senior Program is for volunteers that are at age 55 or older. They do not receive the Education Award at the end of service, and they don't receive a monthly or bi-monthly stipend. Whereas AmeriCorps members, they do receive a stipend depending if they're a full-time member or a part-time member, and they receive an Education Award if they get that minimum hours completed by their last day of service.
Yes, the RSVP volunteers will benefit from an insurance coverage while they're volunteering. So if anything happens to them.
How is biz? I'm trying to think of the right way to put it, because it's not a traditional business model by any stretch of the imagination. Are you guys busy like all the time?
We are, yeah. I feel like both programs have really passionate volunteers, so it's amazing to see them volunteer every day or weekly, making a difference in their community. We're keeping really busy. There's a lot of people in the community that want to give back, and so it's really rewarding to see that.
Yes.
And the new office probably helps things quite a bit now that you guys have some elbow room, now that you've all moved together out to North Wenatchee. I mean, that's probably made your job a little easier.
Absolutely. Jeremy, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think it just lets members of the community, connect with us all in one location. So our food pantry is in the same location as, and we've never had our food distribution and our agency together. It's always been separate. So just having those clients be able to benefit from all of our services or volunteer opportunities.
When I took a tour of the new facility in October with Alan, he gave me a walkthrough with the camera. And he was pointing out individual rooms and what they're designed for. I said, this is like a little daycare thing. So when people come in to interview for services, they have this little place for the kids to play. And what's this room? Oh, this is English as a second language room. I said, oh, that's cool. They have a room dedicated to that. That's talk about that. That's an important thing, right? For people who want to be more proficient in English, just to advance their knowledge and their humanity.
Yeah, so that is an AmeriCorps host site, is the Literacy Council. So I currently have one member who is a full-time tutor and student intake. She has 5 classes right now in the evening, during the day, kind of like more of a one-on-one kind of basis, just because of the way clients are registering and stuff this year. Yeah, we just make those classes happen with the help of volunteers.
And how important is, not just for AmeriCorps, but the Chelan Douglas Community Action Council as a whole? How no volunteers, I guess this whole place just folds up like a tent, right? I mean, that's the gist of it, is it not?
Volunteers make a huge difference, and not just our organization, but everywhere. It takes a lot of hands, and like you mentioned earlier, budget, and so volunteers can help support, if maybe you don't have a employee position filled, and the volunteers helping out, they are helping with critical services in the community.
And the only skill set you need is to give a damn. That's it. If you give a damn, they'll find a place for you. What's your most urgent, turning back to AmeriCorps right now, what's your most urgent need that you have right now as we transition from winter to spring? Does certain programs and services that you offer kind of tail off a little bit and others pick up in momentum? Is there any specific need right now?
Yeah. Can you clarify on that? You mean like any of our programs?
Yeah, the programs that seem to get a little busier this time of the year as opposed to others.
Yeah, all of our programs, I feel like they're always really busy. There might be, some programs that have a little downtime at, certain parts, but I feel like, housing, weatherization, AmeriCorps is going on. So really, I feel like we're always really busy.
You see the weatherization guys out there all the time with their pickup trucks and their trailers, making old homes more energy efficient. That's just one of the many things that's going on with that. Hopefully we planted a seed. What if let's talk about getting people involved in AmeriCorps. You're not getting it for the money. I'm just telling you that right now. You don't get paid a lot. You get a stipend every couple of weeks if you actually make the cut. But sell your services, Jeremy, to the general public.
Yeah, so AmeriCorps or being a volunteer is great. There's proven health benefits for giving your time, making you feel good. And with the bonus of the AmeriCorps, you get a living stipend and an education award in the process. Yeah. And
you're probably a better, well-rounded human being when it's all said and done as well.
Yeah. Gain some new skills that you probably didn't have before.
How did you get roped into AmeriCorps and the Chelan Douglas Community Action Council? Was it just?
Yeah, it was an interesting transition. I got placed there by SkillSource, actually. So I started just as the basic food distribution coordinator 5 years ago. And it's just continued to evolve from then as program director of the Literacy Council to now kind of a combination 5-hat role that I do.
Same question for you, Liz. How did you end up where you are now? And I don't mean the studio.
Yeah. Well, I served in this program years ago when it was called IMAC. I did 2 terms of service and it changed my life. I had the opportunity to make a career change a few years back. And there was an opening at Community Action. Started in housing and then transitioned to the AmeriCorps department. And I've been with it since.
When you go into the portal for people who've applied for AmeriCorps, and they apply from all over the country, how hard is it to sell the Wenatchee Valley for prospective people to come say, I'll move across the country and live in Wenatchee and do, is the Valley a hard sell?
I don't think so. I think our location, there's a lot to do. We're near Leavenworth, different areas. A lot of people that have relocated are interested in hiking and nature, and so that's really an easy point when I'm trying to sell it to them.
There are some openings right now. If you go to the Chelan Douglas Community Action Council website, you'll see the portal inside of that for AmeriCorps, and that's where you can see what's going on, what positions they have open, what needs that they need. You fill out the form, you send it off, Liz will get it, and away you go from there. Did we touch it? Is there anything we forgot? We talked before the cameras were rolling. Anything that we want to stress before I cut you? I know you're busy. Anything, Jeremy, that's on your mind that we want to make sure we get out there?
We do want to mention, get it out there, that for out-of-state members or for in-state members or community members, we do have an AmeriCorps house. That has 4 rooms.
Yeah, we have 2 rooms, 1 room downstairs and then 1 room upstairs that is available for AmeriCorps members that are actively serving on our team. And it's right around the corner from our office. So,
cool.
Yeah, great location.
So you can walk.
Absolutely, if they're in-house serving.
Yeah. It's nice to see you, Liz. It's nice to see you again, Jeremy. Jeremy and I have hooked up a couple times before. And AmeriCorps. Check it out. Everything you need to know. It's a very well done website. Again, Chelan Douglas Community Action Council's website. Inside of that is the portal for AmeriCorps. Everything you're going to want to know about AmeriCorps is right there. Keep up the good work. I know you guys aren't bored at the old office, especially you, Jeremy. Last question. How's Liz as a boss? Is she
great?
Is
yeah.
she?
Yeah,
Okay.
Very supportive, open communication. Yeah.
You're not saying that because she's sitting right next
No.
to you. Keep up the good work. If you want to come back on the show anytime.
Great.
Anytime. It's good to see you. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Welcome back to the program. Boy, what a difference just 72 hours is going to make as far as Mother Nature is concerned. Here's the deal. We're going to have warm weather here in the Wenatchee Valley, but the big weather maker isn't really here. It's what's going to be going on up in the mountain passes. They had all of that snow, just a ridiculously large amount of snow, Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, so much so that they had to close the passes a number of occasions because the plows just couldn't keep up with it. Well, now it's going to rain on Stevens and rain on Squamish, and I mean rain hard. 3/4 of an inch of rain with warm temperatures up on Stevens Pass for today, tonight, all over again Tuesday. We're talking 3/4 of an inch of rain in each 24-hour period. So the rain is going to come down in torrents, and the temperatures are going to be well above freezing for both the afternoon highs and the overnight lows on the mountain passes. All that snow has got to go someplace, so the flood watch is on. It begins tonight. It goes all the way through Sunday evening. Right now, up at the Stehekin area, that's the place where people are keeping their fingers crossed because they're going to have rain and snow melt there. But by the time we get to, say, Wednesday or Thursday, the Aniak's going to get up there, the Wenatchee, the Icicle. There's simply all that snow and all that heavy rain is going to make the area creeks and streams and rivers get going big time. 56 today, slight chance of rain. 42 for the overnight low tonight. Then we go up to 64 on Tuesday, 64 Wednesday, 66 Thursday. Thursday. If you've been following the news, there's a ginormous ridge. They're calling it a record-shattering ridge of high pressure over the desert southwest, and that warm air is going to pay us a visit, especially starting tomorrow. That's it for us. Have a good and safe Monday. We'll see you till Tuesday. Bye-bye.